Okay, we're ready for our next level. And this is going to be thumbed chords. This is a technique that all kinds of classic rock guitar players, guys like Jimi Hendrix and Jimmy Page, Jeff Beck, Eric Clapton, all those guys, instead of playing six-string bar chords, six-string root bar chords, oftentimes they would fret that sixth string with their thumb wrapped coming from around the top. And it's not technically the correct way to play, but it's such a useful technique. I think it's something that everybody should learn how to do. It's not hard to do, and it's just another tool in the arsenal that you can whip out every once in a while. And the great thing about it, the thing that makes it so good, is it frees up your other fingers. You can have your root notes of the chord locked in with your thumb, and then you can use your other fingers to do all kinds of different things. You can play single notes, you can play different chord voicings and embellish those chord voicings with little melodic figures. Just take a listen to Little Wing or Castles Made of Sand or Jimmy Page is playing on just about any Led Zeppelin album, and you're going to hear that exact thing. So first of all, let's start with the most basic chord, an A major chord with a six-string root. But instead of playing it like a typical bar chord like this, we're not going to use an index finger bar going across all the frets. We're going to use our thumb to fret that low A root note. And now we're going to use the chord position on the top four strings that we had used for our F chord. As you see, if you've gone through this whole DVD, so many things can be traced back to the most basic things that you learn on the guitar that have to do with the first position and open position chords. All of those things can be translated all over the neck and done in different ways, and that's one of the greatest things about the guitar. So just like we had our F chord from way back when, we're going to move that up to the ring finger on the 7th fret, middle finger 6th fret of the G, index finger bars the top two strings. So you've got an A major chord voicing on the top four strings, and we can drop our A bass note, root note down on the bottom that's fretted with the thumb. Now this 5th string, it's not being fretted at all, so it needs to be muted somehow. And that string gets muted in two different ways. One way it gets muted is when you're fretting the 5th fret of the 6th string with the thumb. You want a little part of the thumb to be touching the A string so it mutes it. And also, when you're fretting the rest of the chord, the tip of the ring finger that's fretting the 7th fret of the D string can also get in the act and mute it too. So it's being muted by both the thumb and the ring finger. And that way, if you really think about it, make sure you do it that way, you could really hit the chord hard. You don't have to worry about getting that A string ringing in there. So practice fretting that chord, strumming each note so it sounds clear, and then move it around. And it might hurt a little bit at first if you've never tried it before with your thumb, but believe me, it's worth it. After a while, it's going to feel very comfortable. Okay, so let's use these thumbed six-string root chords to continue our discussion of suspended chords. When we were playing our E major chord in open position and we wanted E sus4, we played it like that. That major third that was fretted on the G string moved up one fret to the 4th. So if you just look at the top four strings, you could do that by going like this. Okay, we're going to apply that concept to a closed position higher on the neck. So if we move up to that A major voicing here, you can put your pinky down. That's A sus4, but let's bring that thumb in there. And this takes some practice to be able to get those notes all clear with the index finger bar plus the thumb, all those notes. got to make sure that these fingers are all standing up as straight as possible, not leaning down at all, because that would mute out the strings as you go higher. One, two, three, four.